The Interstellar Peace Summit should have been the proudest moment of my military career. Instead, it became the day the entire galaxy decided my fate for me. I am Captain Reese Calder of the Terran Fleet, survivor of the Grathian Wars and reluctant diplomat. After 5 years of brutal conflict, the war between humanity and the reptilian, hive-born Zirathai Empire had finally ended, not with victory, but with negotiation. The Zirathai were biologically brilliant, socially ruthless, and terrifyingly unified. But the war had drained both sides to the point of extinction, and human and Zirathai leaders finally agreed to something unheard of. A peace pact sealed not by treaties, but by marriage. Not marriage of empires, marriage of individuals. A symbolic union between one human and one Zirathai royal, an ancient ritual meant to bind civilizations. Nobody told me that I, of all people, was the chosen human. They called us to the ceremony inside the Temple of Silent Stars, a colossal obsidian cathedral floating in high orbit above neutral space. As I stood by the Terran delegation, the Zirathai arrived in a procession of armor, tendrils, and echoing voices. Then she appeared, the Zirathai princess chosen for the bonding. Princess Vesha. Her skin was a deep, jagged violet. Her eyes were milky white with no pupil. Plates of bone jutted like armor across her shoulders, and her mouth opened sideways, showing rows of predatory teeth. Even among her species, she stood out, much larger, more asymmetrical, more fearsome. A hush swept through the hall. I didn't realize my mic was still active in my helmet. Gods, I muttered under my breath. They picked the ugliest one. The Terran delegation stiffened in horror. The Zirathai delegation turned toward me, and Princess Vesha stopped walking. A heartbeat stretched into a year. I wanted to rip my helmet off and run. The entire galaxy had heard me insult her in the most important ceremony in Zirathai culture. But Vesha didn't roar. She didn't charge. She didn't order my execution. She simply tilted her head, showing no reaction at all, and continued her approach. When she reached me, she placed one clawed hand on mine. "I choose him," she declared. The Zirathai roared in approval. The humans panicked. And just like that, my life was no longer mine. The bonding was not legal, not yet. It required a month-long coexistence aboard the neutral diplomatic ship Astral Hearth, where each pair would live together to prove cooperation. If either partner gave up the bond, the peace accord failed, and war would reignite. So, for the first time in my life, I was locked in a shared quarters with someone who terry-fed me. She didn't speak for the first day. She just sat in silence, studying me, pupils adjusting to every movement I made. No threats. No anger. Just observation. On day 3, she finally spoke while analyzing samples at her portable lab. "You avoid looking at me," she said in perfect English. "It's not personal," I lied. "Everything you humans do is personal." She turned toward me. "Tell me why you fear me." I swallowed. "Because your people killed millions of ours." "And yours killed millions of mine," she replied calmly. "Yet here we stand." That was the first moment I felt like she might not hate me. Still, a wall remained between us, shame. I knew she had heard what I called her. She simply chose not to address it. Until day 8. We were sharing a meal. Her nutritional slabs smelled like burning metal when she set her plate down and asked, "Why did you call me the ugliest?" I froze, heat flooding my face. There was no way to twist it, no excuse to hide behind. I panicked, I admitted. "You were intimidating. And I was afraid the Zirathai chose someone who would hate me." Silence stretched. Then Vesha did something terrifying. She laughed. Not mockingly. Not sharply. A deep, resonant rumble that shook her armored plates. You humans hide fear behind insult. Zirathai hide fear behind dominance. She leaned closer. Both are cowardice. Her voice was firm, not cruel, and for the first time, I felt like she saw me. In the days that followed, the change was slow, but real. She taught me Zirathai history, not propaganda, but cultural truth. I learned that the plates on her body weren't deformities. They were badges of honor, grown only by those who survived extreme trials. Her asymmetry was not ugliness. It was proof she had fought to protect her people and nearly died doing it. I began to notice things I hadn't before. The way her milky eyes softened when she listened. How her voice lowered when she was trying not to frighten me. How she never touched anything in our room without asking first, because she didn't want me to feel unsafe. On day 15, she confessed something I didn't expect. You were not assigned to me, she said softly. I chose you before the summit. That made no sense. She had never met me. Why me? I asked. She opened a small hologram. A saved broadcast, my broadcast. A speech from the early war. In it, I called for saving Zirathai civilians instead of extermination. You are the only human commander who refused to target our nurseries, she said. To us, that is beauty beyond form. My chest tightened. She didn't choose me because she needed a husband. She chose me because she believed I was the one human who wouldn't see her species as monsters. Guilt hit me like a starship crash. I had been wrong, painfully wrong. Ending. Day 28. The bonding trial almost complete. A single decision remained. The public vow ceremony. Once spoken, it would seal the alliance. If either of us refused, the accord collapsed. Vesha waited by the ceremonial altar, armored plates polished, eyes glowing under the cathedral lights. I stepped forward, voice trembling, not from fear, but from clarity. Before I make my vow, I must correct a wrong, I said, and the entire diplomatic audience leaned forward. I turned toward Vesha. When I first saw you, I called you the ugliest. But the truth is, I was the blind one. You are strong, loyal, and brave. Your body is a map of every sacrifice you made to keep others alive. There is no greater beauty than that. Her eyes widened, just barely, but enough for me to know she felt it. Then came my vow. I choose peace. I choose unity. And if you will allow it, I choose you. For the first time since I'd met her, her voice faltered. I accept. The chamber erupted in thunderous approval. The treaty was secured. But what happened after the ceremony mattered more. When the lights dimmed and the diplomats dispersed, Vesha approached me, not with dominance or formality, but with quiet vulnerability. You did not regret speaking honestly today? She asked. Only that I didn't say it sooner. She lowered her forehead to mine, the Zirathai equivalent of a kiss. Then, Reese Calder, she murmured, let us walk this future together, not because the galaxy demands it, but because we choose it. And for the first time since the war began, I felt something I thought I had lost forever. Hope. Not for humans or Zirathai. For us.